Hello, welcome to the Mark Janard Show. The 2026 Axios hack was basically a supply chain compromise of the NPM package, not vulnerability, right? In the Axios HTTP code itself. So attackers hijack a maintainer account and publish malicious versions 1.14.1 and 0.30.4 that pulled in a hidden dependency, right? The plain crypto.js 4.2.1, which then executed a post-install payload and dropped cross-platform rat malware. Now the change, right, the malicious releases were published directly to NPM with the same Axios source code, but with a package.json dependency added for plain crypto.js. That meant the source diff looked clean while the install time behavior was poisoned. So the attacker also bypassed the normal GitHub actions, right? The OIDC trusted publishing path by using stolen long-lived NPM credentials. So the bad releases existed only on NPM and had no matching GitHub comment, or basically the commit or tag. Now, in regards to the infection chain, a developer running npm install Axios at 1.14.1 or npm install Axios at 0.30.4 would have npm resolve and install plain crypto.js 4.2.1 automatically, then execute its post-install look. That hook launched a multi-stage dropper that detected that host OS and fetched a second stage payload tailored for Windows, the Mac OS, or basically Linux. Now, in regards, the payload collected file system and process information, right? The payload behavior. It exfiltrated it to attacker-controlled infrastructure and then tried to persist or establish remote control depending on the platform. So it varies. Public analysis described OS-specific branches, whether it was a Windows path that used hidden PowerShell VBS script staging and persistence, or a macOS path that dropped a sign-looking, basically it was a sign-looking binary into cache or cache directories, and a Linux path that launched a Python. It was basically based in, it was a based implant, right, from the TMP, but why it was so hard to spot the malicious package, because it used a typo squatted name, right, the plain crypto.js, and was staged before the Axios releases to avoid brand new package alarms. Now, it also used anti-forensics tricks, including a self-deletion and swapping in a clean manifest stub after execution, so later, right, the inspection of the installed directory could look normal. Now, there is a huge impact of this, right? This changes a lot. So Axios is heavily used, so even a short exposure, right, window could affect many downstream builds and, CI systems that install without a log file or pull fresh dependencies during the attack window. Now, security write-ups advise treating affected hosts as compromised, rotating secrets, right, reviewing the CI/CD runners and checking for the phantom dependency plain crypto.js or the malicious Axio versions. Now, okay, cyber attack, all that jazz, we know that. How do we mitigate and remove the rat, the remote access Trojan from the compromised machines? Now, if you suspect the Axios rat ran on a machine, the safest approach is to contain it first, then rebuild rather than trying to clean the host in place. Now, public guidance from incident responders and defenders basically say to isolate the affected systems, remove the malicious package from the dependency tree, rotate exposed secrets, and re-image from a known good baseline, right? But before you can do all that, immediate containment, right? Disconnect the machine from the network or isolate it with the EDR or /MDM quarantine. Block the known command and control egress if you have it in your environment, right? And pause the CI/CD jobs that may still be pulling affected dependencies. You want to preserve the memory, the process, and network artifacts before wiping if your incident response team needs, basically they need the scope or the attribution, right? You want to confirm the exposure. So check the log files and the dependency trees for the Axios at 1.14.1, the Axios at 0.30.4, and the plain crypto -GS at 4.2.1. Look for the presence of a node _module / plain crypto.js directory. Defenders note that even if the package manifest was cleaned up afterward, that directory is basically strong evidence the dropper executed. Now, you want to review the endpoint and proxy logs for suspicious outbound connections, especially to the reported C2 infrastructure eradication. However, you want to remove the malicious packages from the host and from any build caches, right? Caches. Now, including the NPM, the yarn, and the NPM, caches, right? You want to delete the affected working trees and rebuild from a trusted log file and a known clean dependency cache, right? Do not rely on NPM audit alone. The malware's cleanup behavior can make the install directory look clean after execution. Now, after you do all that, then there's the recovery phase, right? You want to reimage, right, the compromised endpoints from a clean gold image or snapshot. Rotate any credentials, right? That's the API keys, the tokens, the SSH keys, and session secrets that may have been present on the machine or accessible to the build runner, okay? Review all CI/CD runners and developer workstations that installed the affected versions because, basically supply chain attacks often spread through shared pipelines and, basically cache dependencies. You want to also incorporate hardening, right? Pin Axios to a verified safe version and avoid floating tags like latest, right? Enable trusted publishing, strict branch protection, and dependency allow listing where possible. Now, you also want to add detection for unexpected post-install scripts and for new packages that are not part of the approved dependency graph, okay? So that's what I have for today. Please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and the like button. If you appreciate this video, let me know in the comment section so I can make more videos about this. I appreciate your viewership. Stay safe and see you on the next video.